In this video, let's talk about the Kelce versus Gronk debate, look at some injuries and who's up next on punt returns because of said potential injuries, and then look at the self-fulfilling prophecy of running back Isiah Pacheco as he set out to take another grown man's job and has done just that. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs, so make sure to sub if you're new, hit that like button if you wish all these players who are dealing with some injuries a quick recovery. Let's get into this video starting with a quick merch plug. How about those Chiefs merch? Because we got a new one in. It's the Joka shirt. Kadarius Toney himself, the kind of viral meme of him going around smiling about being able to play for Pat Mahomes. So we got this in just today. It's got the Joka medallion. It's got HBTC on his forehead, and Jack Hatzfeld, the graphics guy who handles all the stuff on this channel, killed this design. If you want to check it out and a lot of other merch that I have, you can check out the link in the description, or it's merch.hbtchiefs.com. With all that being said, let's talk about my take on the Kelce versus Gronkowski debate, but brag on Kelce first, because so far this season, Kelce is balling all the way out. He has 11 receiving TDs this season, already tying the most TDs he's had in a single season. There's still a lot of games left. He's on pace for a career high in catches, yards, and TDs this season at the good, nice young age of 33. And he's the first tight end with multiple games of 3+ reception TDs in a single season since 1983. That is incredible. Kelce has also passed Tony G and Rob Gronkowski with the most games of 100+ receiving yards at the age of 33. And I found a photo of Travis Kelce from the game last week that is one of the greatest photos I've ever seen. Do you guys want to see it? Of course you do. So here you go. This photo is as cold as ice. Maybe they should paint this as a mural. Little losers. Now let's settle this Gronkowski versus Kelce debate, because when Travis Kelce passed Gronk for the most 100+ yard receiving games, everything flared back up again and everybody's going crazy about this, who's better, this and that, and giving kind of bogus reasons depending on where you look. And here's one of them. Brad Kelly tweeted this out. Gronk had 74 TDs when he was 26 years old. Kelce didn't hit 74 TDs until week 5 of this year, which honestly, man, it's a really weird thing to do, to talk about using stats of ages, because Gronk was 21 years old his first year in the NFL back in 2010 and had 6 full seasons under his belt by the age of 26. Meanwhile, Kelce's first year in the league, he was actually 24 and didn't play his rookie year due to injury. So Brad is over here comparing Gronkowski having 6 seasons by that age to Kelce only having 2. What a weird, sad, silly little man Brad is. Stats like this look cute until you add context and use your brain. I mean, Seth Kaiser proves that point here when he shares this stat. Since the age of 29, if you compare Gronk and Kelce, Kelce has 6,958 yards and 46 TDs. Meanwhile, Gronkowski has 2,524 yards and 13 TDs. That is pretty impressive, by the way. Just shows that Kelce's career has seemed to age like fine wine. But the point here is, do not cherry pick ages for the sake of an argument. It makes no sense. So how about we just look at their stats in their entirety instead? Kelce has 773 receptions for 9,861 yards and 68 TDs. Gronkowski has 621 receptions for 9,286 yards and 92 TDs. And then this graphic here that you're seeing by year just kind of shows more or less Kelce's consistency as something that basically never wavers. Kelce is great, and his consistency earns him a nod in my book, even though Gronkowski may have been a more complete tight end who could block better and might have had a higher ceiling for a couple years, but injuries have definitely stifled him. Meanwhile, Kelce has been consistent year after year, and he's still slaying out. And the point of all this, guys, I don't think it matters. They're both great in their own way, both elite, and both will go down as some of the best tight ends to ever play this game. Therefore, it's not always the best way to go. Cherry picking arguments to fit your own cute little narrative. Just let these guys be great. Kelce will continue to smash some records. Gronkowski has more rings and more TDs right now. But again, both are fantastic players, and I am biased, of course, but I wouldn't trade Kelce for anyone. But Gronk is amazing too. So stop the stupid arguments. It doesn't make any sense. But on the subject of tight ends, we'll stay here for one more second, and then we'll move on to some other players, because Travis Kelce was the highest graded player on the Chiefs in the Week 11 win versus the Chargers. He had a 93.4 grade. Then Trey Smith was next, 89.3. L'Jarius Sneed, 87.2. And by the way, he played outside a lot in this game, which is not typical of him to do, but he specifically asked to do so next time they played the Chargers so he could square up against players like Mike Williams himself. So you got to admire that, and I think he played really good. You can obviously see the third highest graded player on the team, and he played a position he doesn't necessarily play all the time. Willie Gay Jr. was next at 85.7, and then Nick Bolton, the legend, 84.4. So I just thought that was cool to share with you guys. I know we think very little at times of PFF, but hey, top 5 graded players for what it's worth. Let's freaking go. From here, I want to talk about special teams real quick. Specifically talking about the punt game because we've got some injuries. So Pete Sweeney says this. Chief Special Teams Coordinator Dave Tobe says cornerback Trent McDuffie and wide receiver Justin Watson are receiving considerations for punt returner, but it does sound like wide receiver Sky Moore will get the first shot with wide receiver Kadarius Toney possibly out of the mix this week. So yeah, Kadarius Toney did something to his hamstring and we have no details on injuries. I'll talk more on injuries in a second, but then wide receiver Mecole Hardman was put on IR. So you're out Mecole Hardman and you are out Kadarius Toney in theory for this Sunday. So it looks like Sky is the guy. Sky is the guy now more than likely with both Mecole and Kadarius injured. And then Justin Watson could be another possibility. He did catch a punt the other game or two ago. I can't remember, 2 games ago, I think, on like a trick return of sorts. And then also Dave Tobe didn't rule out Trent McDuffie being back there either. He said they are working on things with McDuffie. He's progressing, but he's also the starting left corner on punt return, so he may not be the most likely option. And honestly, dude, I kind of hope he isn't. He's the starting cornerback. We need to keep this man healthy at all costs, please and thank you. Now, let's talk injuries real quick. There's no real new injury updates because Coach Reid did not touch on them during his presser on Monday. The only thing we have is what he said Sunday after the game, and then Coach Reid did not speak to the media today. It was just some of the other coaches. You had special teams coordinator Dave Tobe, you had Eric Bieniemy, and you had Coach Spags. So we're still waiting to see and hear about Juju Smith-Schuster on whether or not he's going to play Sunday against the Rams, as well as the status on safety Juan Thornhill's calf, wide receiver Kadarius Toney's hamstring, cornerback Jalen Watson's hand, and then running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire's ankle. Now, there's also Lucas Niang, who we may see return to the roster by Wednesday as his 21-day return window comes to a close. Coach Reid said, I think on Monday, he was asked about it by Pete Sweeney, actually, the status on Lucas Niang, and he seemed positively optimistic about him returning, not starting per se, but at least starting to work into the mix at right tackle. Could be good news. I don't know. We'll have to see what really happens on Wednesday if they sign him to the roster or put him on IR for the season. As far as CEH is concerned, however, I would venture to guess he's out for at least a couple of weeks. As Andy Reid said, it was a high ankle sprain, but I don't know about the others. They could all play this week, but it's all speculation until we hear more. We'll have to just really keep an eye on the injury report, see who didn't participate, who was limited. Are any of these guys going to be full participants, and all that? But with CEH more than likely out, that would more than likely mean that finally, at least to him, and maybe some others that want to see it, Ronald Jones is more than likely the next man up, and we will see him dress out and maybe even get a couple snaps or more this Sunday against the Rams. And Eric Bieniemy shared about Ronald Jones today in his presser.
Obviously, we're expecting RoJo to come out and be RoJo, the very best of him. He's done a heck of a job this entire season of just working hard. He does a great job of supporting his teammates. I'm expecting RoJo, if he's up and playing, that he will come in and do what is expected of him.
Well, the question is, what exactly is expected of Ronald Jones? I mean, CEH started 2 weeks ago and didn't see the ball at all. So will they dress RoJo and not let him see the ball? That could very well happen, but we will have to just wait and see because as of right now, rookie running back Isiah Pacheco is not only here, but he is him, at least in the running back room, getting the majority of the rushing reps out of the backfield. And with CEH out, that trend will more than likely continue. Pacheco said when he was drafted that he's willing to do whatever it takes for this team, and he's more than willing to work hard and take another grown man's job. And what's crazy is he literally did just that. He's the go-to running back now on the team as far as I'm concerned until the snap counts and overall reps show us otherwise. And with Pacheco balling out like he did last week against the Chargers, rushing for over 100 yards, I don't see why that's going to change. Of course, he's still learning, growing, working on patience, finding the right hole, and the coaching staff is working with him in those aspects of the game to help him grow.
One thing that I'm going to mention to him, and I'll say it here, is anybody can do something once. It's about putting consistent behavior on tape. And so we're going to need that from him. So he has to continue to evolve. He has to continue to grow. And we're expecting him to continue to be Isiah Pacheco.
But if you look at some of his best runs from Sunday, you can clearly see why the coaches are favoring Pop Pacheco. He's just fast, powerful, and brings a spark to the run game that this team needs. So let's look at some of those now. I mean, this first one is his 28-yard run, and man, he is just shifty. Shout out to the O-line there. But man, Isiah Pacheco is shifty once he gets out into open space. And the thing I like about this next run is the hole collapses and he just bounces outside and finds another way and fights for 9 yards. There was a flag on the play. I can't remember if that play stood or not, but either way, it was a nice showing by Pacheco. And on this play here, again, just finding the hole, using his speed and aggressiveness to penetrate right through. And I really like to watch this man run outside just because of his overall speed. This is just something the Chiefs haven't had. CEH is not the fastest guy. Jerick McKinnon is not the fastest guy. Some of the other backs we've had in recent years have not been as fast as Isiah Pacheco. So when he's able to bounce outside and beat guys around the corner, that's where, to me, it gets really fun. And he's just aggressive. He's hungry. He's humble, willing to learn and grow. I know he had, a mishap on the kick return last week, but Dave Tobe said today in his presser that he's learned from that, and he'll more than likely never do that again. He should have caught it out of bounds or just let it bounce out of bounds, and the Chiefs would have got it on the 40. Now, one run here that's not a highlight, but it's Pacheco being stuffed on third down. But this isn't really Pacheco's fault, I don't think. I mean, there's more issues here. There's an Andrew Wiley issue here that I see and some other stuff that's way above my pay grade that I'm not sure any running back would have gotten through that 3rd and 1. But again, this is what I love to see. That's on a little counter. That's a 9-yard run. Dude, anytime Isiah Pacheco can just get 5 on first down, 5 on second down, another outside run here, he is lightning fast. And again, he's not perfect. He's got things to work on, but right now he is him in the running back room, and this game showed exactly why. Lastly, did you guys know that Coach Reid said that as Pacheco got close to the 100-yard mark on the ground in the game against the Chargers, they intentionally gave him some additional opportunities needed to help potentially make the 100-plus yard game happen? Yeah, I didn't know that till today either, and Pacheco didn't know that until he was told that by the media after the game.
I said, man, talked to Coach Reid post-game. He said that they made a point to try to get you to 100 yards, man. What does that mean to you to get to make
I didn't even know that. Game? I didn't even know that. But for me, just definitely stand on the course, listening to the O-line and the leaders, just keep being myself. Don't change. Just keep listening to the coaches, let them call the plays and go execute.
Man, you gotta love his humble attitude and willingness to put his head down and grind things out with a happy heart here in Kansas City. Question for you guys. What are your thoughts on Pacheco's self-fulfilling prophecy and taking another grown man's job? Are you excited to have him in there as a featured running back? Does it also make you a little sad like me that a 7th rounder has outperformed a former 1st round pick in CEH? I mean, I know CEH is injured again, but Pacheco was outperforming him prior as it was already. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and then check out this YouTube short that I dropped today on the Chiefs beating the Chargers this past Sunday using the same exact play that they used to beat them last year in overtime. Same guy scored in the same stadium, and until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?